alone up here. I've needed to be alone. There was a sign back there about protecting the forest. As I read it, I felt the Spirit say, "She is my life." She is life. Yeah, and the same Spirit said, "Yet, though she slay me, yet do I love her." That Spirit, when I read that sentence, sounds good. Sounds good. Person. The temperature is perfect. The air is cool, wet, humid, and piney. So I picked this little spot back in the trees here where I sit, and this bird come flying by, and he was so surprised to see me out of the corner of his eye that he flapped back around and came backward and looked at me for a minute, and then flapped again, which meant he went the opposite direction with a loud pop, like it looked like an eagle almost, a little small eagle.
Oh, I see. It was in this bush here.
I was looking at it up there. No, it was right up there between those two trees.
Oh, not in this bush.
No, right above me. He came looking, and he like startled him to see me in the bushes. He expected me to be at the table eating or something like humans. This poetry about giving an offering to a bird, it's like the birds of the tree kind of nest in the branches of the tree, and the synchronicity of that in the past was they saw me in an unusual place and came to see where I was at and understand me, to know me, and I in turn came to know you. So giving an offering to the birds and different types of offerings in the old belief systems, was poetry for that, where the fruit is not a physical fruit, it's a fruit of your wonder of your life, what you think, and wants to know that, learn from you, and you from, like birds landing on the branches of a tree. So, like a tree, I waited for you. The birds there came and noticed me, waiting. And landed in the branches. I supped with them, Spirit. So anyway, and then I want to go back to the belief system, believe on Jesus. When I say believe on the Lord Jesus, I did that. Yeah, that's true. But it was to believe what he was doing, that he was seeking the Spirit. That was the most important thing he said to do. Everybody that follows the words and has all these words that they really haven't done it. That's the problem. That's what the parables are about. It's what it's going to be, what you're going to be, not what the Pharisees were at that time, but more like from his story. His story. So, saying, spirit angel lands in the branches of the tree, which is the kingdom. It's inside you. And we share with one another. But if you don't seek the spirit, birds won't ever land. You have to be a growing tree. Have an intention. How long is a tree before a bird lands on it? How big is a tree before a bird lands in its branch? So I was looking at, all the interpretations that they interpret what each parable means, like that parable. But the Spirit has so much to share with you. That is the Spirit gives you. So what keeps the Spirit alive and what keeps the city built, the physical city that you live in, your house and your everything, there's the interpretation which grows, and also people that have spiritual experiences with it, and so it grows. And it has to be the Spirit does it. Otherwise, it worked for nothing 2,000 years, which they have. Because they never got it from the Spirit. But if we're spiritually growing in the Spirit and that interpretation existing side by side, and when one offends, you pluck it out. When it offends you. Once it offends you, it's like the end of the religion of that world. The humans start thinking in different ways instead of interpretation. So like, let's say Jesus got in such good communion, so close communion with the angels and the birds that landed in the tree, that it was no longer him speaking, but those spirits that speak through him. The spirits began as a thought, and he pondered that thought every day for years, and the synchronicity of events led to more thoughts related to that thought. And then in the moment that he needed to speak to people, it was brought to his remembrance. And he spoke it. Sometimes it's within a day or two, or perhaps a reminder of those moments with the Spirit. But Jesus was the creature. The Spirit speaking through him was the actual one you want to believe in. For it was that Spirit that spoke and said through Jesus, not Jesus, I am the way, the truth, and life, speaking of the Spirit. All that followed the letter and didn't get to know the Spirit wouldn't understand that and would reject that. And misunderstand the true intentions of the heart. Because the corruptible man, person, who's having this romance with Spirit, is going to be consumed by the powers of nature that burn like a flame forever, consuming everything. And but the Spirit that spoke through him, and the two became one, like in marriage, lives forever. In this way, you too do. Oh, it was startled. The words jumped. A deer. Cool. It's really pretty. So it's November 2012. 2 days after Thanksgiving. Near Mammoth Pools or something like that. Grizzly Peak, something like that.